Alright, hello everyone, this is Radio Chaos here, and today I'm going to show you how to overcome a major obstacle on macOS, on the new macOS, and all succeeding versions of macOS that is a big barrier to playing older games, and that is the fact that macOS, starting last year, reached the point where, actually before, a little bit earlier on last year, even in 2019, started that it could only run 64-bit apps. So how do you get around this? Well, I'm going to show you with one game called Oni a way to do it. And in order to do this, you need either the game disk for Windows, or you need to have a ISO of that game disk. I'm not going to give any download links because for the sake of the rules, I am not going to break anything copyright, okay? This is the way to do it, and this is how I do it, all right? I use the game disk that I had. And in order to do this, I'm going to show you the app that we do it by. This is an interesting game. It's the story is like okay. It's not great at all, but the mechanics and gameplay of the gameplay are the best aspect of it. Also, part of this getting this game running is the fact that it only works with a modified version of it. So here I'm just going to go to a little forum post where they admit, okay, yeah, we can't play it with 64 bits. The big part is that there's an app for it. If you know what Codeweavers Crossover is, I recommend it for people like me who have 3 or 4 dozen Windows game disks from before they used a Mac, and just don't mind given the cost of all those games put together. It's not that big of a deal for me to pay the 50 or 60 bucks for a 1 year of guaranteed updates on Codeweavers Crossover. Free, that isn't much of a rip-off, considering, you know, I spent quite a bit of money on those games. My total expenditure on those Windows games is way more than what, and here it is. I'm going to show you here, Codeweavers Crossover right here. It's a wonderful program. It allows me to run a lot of my old Windows software on a Mac. Excellent. And one thing that it does really well is it even runs 32-bit apps, not just Oni, but other 32-bit only apps on 64-bit macOS. It doesn't obviously run every Windows program. There's a compatibility list on the same web page that you can go look at, but Oni is also not on that database. So if I can, I'm going to try and get in touch with someone on this database to include Oni and say that yes, this game plays really well. So right now here I'm going to begin with the downloading phase. So I'm going to find my ISO that I got from my Windows game disk. Alright, so here you choose the disk. Usually you choose the auto run or setup if it asks in Crossover to pick a installer file. That's what you look for on the disk. So here's the setup. That's there. All right, and setup is getting ready, so I'm going to just use the automatic disk recognition, but the automatic disk recognition does not always work. It doesn't always work. If it doesn't, then that's where you take a look at the auto run or the setup.exe executables. So we're going to Crossover. We're going to see if this application's already registered. It actually isn't as of yet. But first you go see, because it might have a note on how compatible it is. So I type in the app. Obviously, I wait while this is loading up for my virtual machine within Crossover. But all right, now I'm typing in Oni, O-N-I, and just making sure that it's not listed. And so far it is not listed. So I'm just gonna say it's an unlisted application. That can be risky. It might not work, but in this case, I have proven it and it will work. So the install is getting started. The good thing about this is that it can automatically look for needed libraries, files that you might need, and it will install them for you. That's another thing I like about this. Obviously, I'm doing an abridged version of the install. I don't want to take all the time, but here now it shows that it's working because it shows the installer program running, and now it's just running the install. There might be a restart, and your Crossover will do a simulated restart if it needs to, for the sake of installing. So I'm going to go get the Anniversary Edition right now, because this is the only version that works. The standard Oni install does not work. The Anniversary Edition mod does. It's completely free, and it's a mod that helps a lot with compatibility on later versions of both Windows and Mac OS. And thankfully, we have it. So I'm going to select the installer file here for Anniversary Edition mod, and we're going to target it into the game folder found on the C drive. So first I go for Anniversary Setup, and I'll choose the bottle here. The bottle is the app that it downloads into that folder. So here I already know the app. It's like, okay, I know that I have to install it into the bottle of Oni. And again, this is an unlisted because it's a mod. Mods are not listed, but they do install. It may or may not work. So have a backup of your disk wherever you need to install, because you might have to uninstall from Crossover if the mod totally messes it up, which it doesn't here. I've tested it to be sure. And so here we now have our Anniversary Edition installer, as you see on the left, upper left corner. And we are going to run the Anniversary Edition installer to get the mod working. So it's loading. I'm not going to add any mods to the game. I'm just going to have it run as if it were the normal game, except this version works. All right, so here is the final little bit of instructions on getting the modified version of the game started. And just a quick read through here before we just hit start on Anniversary Edition. And as this gets started up, voila, we have the game. There it is, window and action. Hope you all enjoyed this, and hope you have a nice time finding how to play this in other games that are back from your old days that you would enjoy with the whole 64-bit barrier. Have a nice time out in the wasteland and be safe. Enjoy the music.